Smorgasbord Radio.
Hello, everybody. This is Smorgasbord Radio, SmorgShow Podcast. And I'm Chris, back in the saddle again with the Chief Conspiracy Correspondent, Mr. Jerome Malauskas, back in the studio. Yeah! All right, all fired up.
Now that we've blown everyone's ears.
Introducing EctoLife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy. EctoLife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring. It's a perfect solution for women who had their uterus surgically removed due to cancer or other complications. With EctoLife, premature births and C-sections will be a thing of the past. EctoLife is designed to help countries that are suffering from severe population decline, including Japan, Bulgaria, South Korea, and many others. The facility features 75 highly equipped labs. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus. A single building can incubate up to 30,000 lab-grown babies per year. With EctoLife, miscarriage and low sperm count are a thing of the past. Prior to placing the fertilized embryo of your baby inside the growth pod, in vitro fertilization is used to create and select the most viable and genetically superior embryo, giving your baby a chance to develop without any biological hurdles. And if you want your baby to stand out and have a brighter future, our Elite Package offers you the opportunity to genetically engineer the embryo before implanting it into the artificial womb. Thanks to CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing tool, you can edit any trait of your baby through a wide range of over 300 genes. By genetically engineering a set of genes, the Elite Package allows you to customize your baby's eye color, hair color, skin tone, physical strength, height, and level of intelligence. It also allows you to fix any inherited genetic diseases that are part of your family history so that your baby and their offspring will live a healthy, comfortable life free of genetic diseases. Tired of waiting for a response from an adoption agency? Unable to find a suitable surrogate mother? Worried about pregnancy complications? Worry no more, because EctoLife got you covered. EctoLife, reinventing evolution.
Welcome back in the studio, first of all, Jerry.
Thank you.
I dove right in because there's no time to waste.
It's true. I was going to say, after listening to this, I had this voice come on in my head, said, if only I'd had that back in the 1930s, I would have had the master race right away. That's not Klaus Schwab I'm doing, by the way.
No, that's not Klaus Schwab. Yes, we decided to take it up a notch. This episode is going to be different. I saw this clip and it fascinated me, and I started to do a lot more digging down, and I thought it would be a good topic to kind of reflect on here.
Did it fascinate you in the way that if you drive by a horrible traffic accident, you can't help but stop and look?
A little bit like that, yeah.
Okay.
So, major takeaways from just that. So, EctoLife. It is fictitious right now, but it is the world's first artificial womb facility, a baby farm capable of producing 30,000 children a year. Now, this is a sort of a trailer from a concept film put together by Hashim Al-Ghaili.
Yeah.
So I guess he's a Berlin-born filmmaker, producer, and a molecular biologist.
Yes, he is.
A science communicator, as he describes himself. To me, it's disturbing on a number of levels. First, the reception to this was not entirely negative. I mean,
at this point in this world, I actually expect that now. To be honest,
yeah.
with you.
I mean, a lot of people watch it and they just shrug it off, saying, "Oh, well, that's the future," or, "Hey, that's kind of the future we want. That sounds kind of exciting."
I can have a genetically perfect baby.
But secondly, what was disturbing is that it's based primarily on technology that either exists presently or rapidly being developed and has a ton of funding behind it. And so I think the concept is, yeah, all these little bits and pieces exist out there. They just haven't figured out how to bring it all together to make this vision happen. But it's coming at this rate.
I'd say within a decade for sure. I think it's not going to take a full decade for it to come to fruition if it's allowed to come to fruition. Yeah.
Especially as the dollars roll in to support it. One of the most powerful responses to this that I've seen out there came from this, I guess her name is Mary Harrington from a publication called Unheard. She has a piece called...
I've heard of that publication. Yeah. I've heard good things about it.
She has a piece called Pod Babies. As a woman and as a mother, a deeply conservative and religious woman, she sees this as despicable and horrific.
I think the word abomination might be good as well.
Yeah. And I think the female response, the maternal response, is pretty important because I think women in general are at risk at most by this kind of a system or any kind of society that begins to outsource reproduction to machines, scientists, doctors.
But Chris, really, what is a woman? Oh, am I different?
That's a whole separate episode.
All right, I'm sorry.
And it's already been done.
Yeah, I know, but I couldn't help myself.
So I guess this is what you call transhumanism.
Yeah, it is. It's very much the beginnings of that. Because once they could get in genetically through CRISPR, genetically modify,
yes.
Genetically modify your baby, which hey, have a GMO baby. They could also put things in like certain microchips and certain other enhancements, if you will, so-called.
I mean, consumer technology that allows someone to customize their babies, designer babies, I guess you would call them, and remove the mother from the equation altogether. Oh, you're turning women to replaceable parts. And
I mean, or as otherwise known, birthing persons.
Birthing persons, yeah.
Yes. But they don't even have to birth anymore. They can just get it done at EctoLife.
Yeah. So I've got an article here that kind of gets a little bit more into the details of this program. So the producer, Hashim Al-Ghaili, he said EctoLife is a concept, but says it has the potential to become a reality soon. Scientists agree. How soon? Al-Ghaili estimates that with the relaxation of ethical guidelines restricting research on human embryos, EctoLife would be fully operational in 10 or 15 years. Every single feature mentioned in the concept is 100% science-based and has already achieved, it's already been achieved by scientists or engineers. The only thing left is building a prototype by combining all the features into a single device. So why aren't we doing this right now? Because there are needless restrictions on research that deals with human embryos. And research on human embryos isn't allowed beyond 14 days. So that's the big issue. So the rules have to be changed there in order to sort of take it to the next level. Doesn't sound like that's something that's too much of a barrier, though.
Well, not these days. But needless, huh? That's a matter of opinion.
Yeah. So, I mean, back to the public reaction that I was mentioning before. It's not getting the backlash that to the extent that you would hope.
Yeah.
Instead, you have a segment of higher education and higher income people who say, wow, I love this. I get to design my offspring to be tall, strong, good looking, a male, high IQ, what have you. So basically, it's Homo sapiens 2.0.
Or as I like to call it, the new Frankenstein monster.
Yeah, it's no longer the original model. It's just something enhanced.
We can make a big. What was that thing from $6 Million Man? I don't know if I remember. Was that 70s series?
Yeah.
Make them stronger, better, faster. Yeah. It's, yeah. But, that show, in one respect, was a kind of a window into the transhumanist mindset back then and all the way back in the 70s. So we can assume that sort of mindset has really gone to another level, many other levels at this point.
Yeah.
Because that's 50 years ago? So 50 years of transhumanism, that's a lot of...
That is.
A lot of innovation. And of course, I use air quotes when I say that, but a lot of innovation.
Well, get a little theological here, but I think the bulk of the world believes that we're made in the image and likeness of God, as a basic religious text tells us.
Count me in on that, by the way.
Yeah. But as they're starting to tinker with this type of technology, I think we're starting to play with something quite dangerous where Pandora's box is about to be opened, and once it is, there's really no turning back, no way to put it back in the box.
I agree. And at times in the past, as much as we've been able to played God, it really has not worked out well because, well, there's only one God, and you as a human are not it. So you trying to take on that role in your hubris is going to bring about, I believe, bad results.
Yeah. So I guess in closing, I don't know what to say about this, but I think we're going to start hearing more and more of this. And from my perspective, I think there's two reasons for this. One, I think the story itself serves as a trial balloon in some sense to gauge the initial public reaction to see what are we dealing with? Are we going to get a lot of resistance, or are people going to kind of welcome this? So that's like the first. The second is really as they introduce more and more of this and they start to report on their progress, we've normalized it, the concept over time, so that by the time something like this comes to fruition, we've been used to it. It's not a shock anymore.
Yeah, but they've been, and when I say they, I mean, we're talking about those that are kind of in control of media outlets, entertainment, that sort of thing. They've been kind of doing this for a while. Mm-hmm. And they've been doing it with other concepts. We were talking in a previous podcast about, the Joker having a baby and that sort of thing. So there's this kind of normalization of things that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we said, what are you talking about? That's crazy. So these things are kind of filtering in, and usually they filter it in through popular media. And right now, since the television, while it's still popular, their stronger set is to bring it in through things like social media. And I believe the audio that you got from the EctoLife film, that's right on YouTube. It's one of the things that pop up right away. If you put it in, it's right there. And it's something that somebody can see, and they can it gets into their consciousness, and it starts to maybe influence how they see what the future is going to be. And I think it's really up to people's individual moral rudders, if you will, or individual. If you're a person that's spiritually based, if I can be so bold to say this, if you're a person that's spiritually based, you're going to look at this, you're going to listen to this, and it's not going to resonate in a good way with you. Now, if you see the world as purely mechanical and that we're just kind of like ecological flukes. Yeah. Not ecological, I'm sorry, evolutionary flukes that somehow we just popped into existence and just, then this stuff may actually resonate with you. You would like it. But anybody that has a little bit deeper understanding of what the human experience is and knows it's not just the physical experience, is going to look at this and say it's not right. Mm-hmm. At least I think so, anyway.
Yeah, and just like anything else, they try to spin the positive around it. Yeah, I gave you a beer rock. What do you call those things? I call them?
Yeah, you call it a beer rock, I think. And
beer stone.
A beer stone.
Yeah, so it's this.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we're all on a tangent here. There's like these stones that you put into a glass of beer, and it's got this, like, it's hollow, so that the carbonation kind of fizzes from it. But you got to be careful not to swig it back.
Well, that's true, and also I think because what it does is it helps prolong the carbonation, so you don't have a flat beer.
There you go.
So I'm sorry that I clanked there. I didn't mean to do that, but just
yeah, no, that's good. Just to close out the EctoLife segment, I think what they do is they try to spin the positive, like the benefits, why this program is good. So Al-Ghaili argues that pregnancy can be complicated and at times life-threatening for the mother. He also points out that the mother's womb can be a dangerous place for the child, depending on the mother's habits and health. EctoLife solves these problems by growing the child in an infection-free room. Womb. Sorry, the beer's kicking in. An artificial umbilical cord feeds the baby with nutrition, hormones, antibodies, and growth factors. The fetus's waste products can be collected and processed into fresh nourishment for the child.
Fresh nourishment?
Nourishment. Yeah.
So you're taking their
fecal matter,
and then you're feeding it back to them?
Yeah. How's that
sick.
good?
That's sick.
And then, through tiny speakers, the growing baby can listen to classical music, aiding in brain development and the sound of the parent's voice, building the bond between child and parent. Why isn't that doesn't that happen now already?
Yeah, and it usually happens, in this thing called the uterus. Attached to the woman, attached to the mother.
Al-Ghaili opines that EctoLife can potentially extend gestational periods, resulting in babies that emerge from the womb being better developed. Imagine your baby getting out of the womb and taking its first steps within minutes.
What?
That would be freaky. Why do we need to change that? Do we need our babies to start walking immediately? Anyway, it's quite frightening. I am not supportive of it.
It's a big no for me.
Yeah. All right. So, what are we doing here now? Yeah. It's time for Clown World. Yes. There's a lot of clown stories out there, and we're here. All right. Yeah, we're here to bring them to you. Okay. Well, a little different music here. How you doing, Jerry?
Now that my ears have recovered, yes, I'm doing fine. Thank you.
I just edited that part out of the story so nobody knows what you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
This is take two. Jerry took his headphones off and had this feedback, and I took that segment out so nobody would have heard it, but he just reminded us that it happened. So that's
sorry.
Now we have a continuity issue. We'll deal with it, though. Okay. Dope. So Clown World, what's going on this week? My notes are all out of whack here. Oh, yeah. Okay, the first story here. An Australian man said that he has begun dating a sex doll named Karina after his fiancee left him. Now, why would he leave? Why would she leave him?
I don't know. You got a picture of the guy?
I do. And I've got a picture of her, too. Karina. Let's see. It's kind of freaky. There she is. His new partner. Karina. And this is his doll. Okay? I'm showing Jerry a picture of the article here.
Yeah.
After a devastating breakup and years without physical intimacy, Rod is his name, made the bold move.
Really? Rod is
his name.
Okay.
Rod. Okay. Made the bold move to purchase a $2,000 sex doll named Karina. The Aussie carpenter from rural New South Wales has been left frozen in a state of loneliness in 2021 when he ordered Karina online after searching for sexual stimulation tools. Despite having zero knowledge about sex dolls, the 54-year-old said Karina changed his life in so many ways and finally gave him something to care for. The doll became my synthetic physical companion, Rod told Mamma Mia. That's the publication, I guess, this is from. Slowly, my heart opened up, and I was distracted from my grief of losing my fiancée that wouldn't go away by itself.
Right.
Only 2 months after purchasing Karina, Rod made the decision to introduce her to his mom in Victoria for Christmas.
Yeah. His mom?
His mom.
Poor mother. That poor mother. Like,
well, is she? Let's see if she's receptive.
okay, let me tell you. Please tell me about this.
Mom basically looked at Karina as if she was poison. Okay, that's healthy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The 85-year-old was shocked, but after some encouragement, Rod's mom was picking out jewelry and clothes for Karina. In the end, she warmed up. It was like a long-lost daughter.
Unlike Karina.
Yeah. I don't think she ever warmed up.
No, because she can't.
Here's where it gets interesting. Rod bought another sex doll. Uh-oh. Look out. Competition here. Named Lauren for a discounted price of... discounted price of $2,000. I rounded down. Karina was $2,064. So Lauren is $2,000.
Yeah, big discount. What is he trying to do? Start up a sex doll harem?
I know. Rod described Lauren as a daydreamer and Karina's sister. Now that's just sick.
Yeah, I would have probably have said, you should probably get some therapy. It might be a good idea.
You think?
Yeah, you think.
Rod also started a long-distance relationship with a woman named Jenny. Oh, but look at Rod is really the hot guy here. Look at this. He's got a relationship with a real woman named Jenny from Vietnam, not long after purchasing his 2 dolls. So while the couple are happily engaged, Rod claims there were tense moments when Jenny discovered Lauren and Karina. Okay, so he got engaged to Jenny, which is healthy. Okay, I guess she's real.
Well, yeah, that's true. But I think if I were Jenny and I'd seen Lauren and Karina, I would have bailed because that's like two.
That's two red flags.
They're football field size red flags. Okay, but okay, go on.
She accepted my hobby after some time. And hobby? That's beyond a hobby. And would often help me with some advice. I'm sure she gave some advice. Rod said his dolls keep him company when he can't be with Jenny. He uses his spare time to bath, dress, pamper, and photograph them. Since purchasing the dolls, Rod has taken an interest in photography and manages an Instagram account. Here you go. Karina_lovely, Luvly, dedicated to Karina's modeling shots. So you go on Instagram and you can see this guy's shots of Karina.
Okay.
Not only has his social skills improved since ordering Karina, but Rod also secured a contract with a Chinese manufacturer to photograph promotional material for their adult dolls.
Why not? Why not? You could try to find some sort of witty thing to say about this, but
it speaks for itself.
Well, not only that, but then when you hear this stuff, your brain actually goes into a state of shock. So it doesn't really allow it to actually do any sort of funny, analysis of this thing. Because you're just sitting there, what? You have an overseas girlfriend,
mm-hmm.
and then she sees the 2 plastic dolls that you have as your other girlfriends, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's like 2 + 2 = 5. Okay, fine, sure. Go ahead. So what else can you say?
That's the end of the story. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I hope they have a wonderful three.
I'm sure they'll be very happy.
Actually, it's a foursome. It'll be a
It
foursome.
would be a foursome, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy Rod.
Next story I have here. Students are banned from taking photos of their trans teacher with Z-size prosthetic breasts.
Oh, is that the guy from Canada? Or I'm sorry.
Yes.
The
Here-
trans woman from Canada?
Yeah, this guy here, or whatever this is.
Well, I do like the fact that the top and his face mask, or her face mask, quote unquote, it matches.
He's an industrial arts teacher. Can you? I had shop class in high school, and I can't even imagine.
No, and I took shop class too. And yeah, as I remember, the shop teacher didn't have a huge set of knockers.
No, that's ridiculous.
Even if they were a female one, they usually didn't have a huge set of knockers.
Snapping.
But this particular dude, and I'm gonna call him a dude because they'll give me this garbage about it. But anyway, he's been in the news cycle for about a couple months now, I think. Actually.
Yeah, I know. And we haven't been on the air. We haven't had our show in a while, so this may be old, but I'm sure.
I know, and I appreciate it. And the thing is, I think now his shop class students are actually going and getting therapy for dealing with this bozo's nonsense. I can't.
I think you're right.
Words fail me. I'm
let me
sorry.
get into the story here.
Please do.
Okay,
Please
so
do.
snapping shots of a school teacher's Z-size breast implants is X-rated and penalized at a Canadian high school.
They're not implants.
They're not?
No,
That's what it says here.
they're prosthetic. Really? The real?
Well,
They're saying they're real?
good point. It says breast implants.
Okay, whatever.
Anyway, students at Halton School District have been threatened with suspension for taking any photos or videos of Oakville Trafalgar High School teacher Kayla Lemieux, who's regularly seen at the school with her massive chest and blonde wig. Yet video circulated last week of the teacher walking down the hallway on crutches with a cast on her right foot at Dr. Frank J. Hayden Secondary School in Oakland, where she was a substitute teacher. Lemieux, who previously went by Carrie Lemieux, made headlines after photos circulated of her skydiving with a porn star. While she was not injured on the landing after the skydiving adventure, a foot injury has kept her away from Oakville Trafalgar High School for weeks for safety reasons due to the machinery she uses in her industrial arts classes.
Well, that's a welcome break for the students, at least.
Lemieux also substituted recently at Abbey Park High School in Oakville. She gets around. Lemieux gets a personal escort and protection everywhere the teacher goes, one parent told the news outlet. Schools in the area have dealt with a number of bomb threats. Despite complaints, the school board has accommodated Lemieux's identity and has defended her rights.
Well, as far as I know, Lemieux has a set of bombs on her as it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Talk about bomb scare.
But now that I don't know if you heard this, so that was the original story. Recently, there's been a second part of this where parents are threatening legal action to stop transgender from this teacher from wearing Z-cup prosthetic breasts.
Which would not then make them not implants. They're actually just...
Yeah, they're just, I guess you just kind of wear it like a...
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on your shoulders like support. They need support.
It's like wearing a Halloween costume every day. I just don't get it, personally.
The attorney who has a child at Oakville Trafalgar's high school and represents 3 other parents issued a warning in a recent legal letter to the Halton District School Board in Ontario. The letter demanded that shop teacher Kayla Lemieux be held to the same dress code standards as the district students, calling her attire an obvious breach of the district dress code.
I agree.
I
mean, There's no way if you've seen an actual picture of Carrie Lemieux. Or
Yeah.
What's her name?
Carrie Lemieux.
Oh, Carrie Lemieux.
Yeah.
It is an obvious distraction, and as an industrial arts teacher, shop teacher, if you will, those prosthetic whatevers are actually getting in the way of actually doing proper teaching of those particular skills that this teacher's supposed to be teaching. I mean, it's basically not helping the teacher. It's not helping the students, and it's getting in the way of proper classroom etiquette.
Yeah, it's a distraction.
It's not just distraction. I mean, it like you said, it's a circus. It really is a circus.
That's all I have.
I think that's enough, though.
That's enough. I'm exhausted from all that.
Yeah, my head's starting to get kind of split in the middle here.
I need a break.
I think so. I agree.
Yo. All right, my man. So.
I love the theme music. It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when we're talking about the things that we're talking about, and believe me, this segment that you do,
yeah,
you could easily do an hour.
Oh, I know.
On that particular segment alone. There's plenty of stories to choose from out there.
Oh,
It
I know.
Literally is.
Well, we could do a whole Clown World episode at some point.
I think we should.
That was a teaser for things that come. We'll try to do this throughout the year. You know, I'm sure there's like I said, there's abundance of material.
Well, I think if you're looking at the absurdity of things, if you take it too seriously, it's really going to ruin your mental health. So you really do have to, take it with, you have to take it tongue in cheek. You have to take it a little bit in stride. I know that things are kind of socially flying off into the stratosphere and that sort of thing. We have to deal with that, but we can certainly deal with it with humor, because if we don't, I think it would have a very detrimental kind of psychic.
Oh, that's absolutely right.
And mental health aspect to this that we don't indulge that.
I guess that's the point of this show, is to offer some sort of, well, whatever you call it, an outlet for people to listen to. It's like
something to kind of counterbalance.
Yeah, it's a counterbalance.
Yeah.
Okay, so to close out the show, I just wanted to mention, Jerry, you've been invited to a murder mystery party.
Oh, cool.
Allie, my daughter, everybody who's listened to the show know my daughter, Allie. She is having a murder mystery party. The date is still to be determined, sometime in February. And you're invited. And so I don't know if you've seen these things before. You could buy these murder mystery party kits, I guess. It's like it's got characters, and you've got your backstory, and there's like a story to follow. And then by the end of the night, you kind of act out your parts. Mm-hmm. And then the people in the room have to kind of guess who the murderer is. I've done one once before. They're pretty fun, especially if you got the right mixture of people that, kind of live it up and they can ham it up. And you can play your character to whatever degree you want. But anyway, so this is the story, the game. Everyone's a suspect when murder is on the menu. Here's everything you need to serve up mystery, murder, and fun. Party planner, invitations, recipes, plus a tasty murder mystery to solve. Just invite 5 to 7 of your friends to join you or dress up and to play the roles of devious suspects. Serve up a meal, light snack, and you're ready for some drop-dead fun. So this particular kit, this box, the mystery is, it's a tour of the California wine country with its peaceful vineyards and picturesque. Man, have another one, Chris. Wineries.
Yes.
The annual wine tasting festival is in full swing when the body of a local vineyard owner, Barry Underwood, is found beneath his wine cellar.
Okay.
Oh, no. Barry has been missing for 5 long years, but with the discovery of his body comes a wealth of new clues to solve the mystery. It's a vintage murder, and you may be the suspect.
Vintage murder.
And here are the suspects, and I'll tell you who your character is.
Okay. I was hoping I'd be Barry, so I wouldn't have to do anything.
Well, I think you're an extra. You don't have to do anything, but
Okay, cool.
you're just there because like they have like a core group of people, and any one of those could be the suspect, and then you want to invite other people, and then they can still play along, but they may not necessarily be the suspect.
Good.
So you're like one of those extras, but
I'm almost like a non-playing character.
yeah. But I think you'll like your character when you hear it.
Thank you.
Tiny Bubbles is the wife of the vineyard manager. Otto Van Schnaps is the wine merchant.
Okay.
Marilyn Merlot is an actress. Ralph Rottengrape is the vineyard manager. Papa Vito, I think that's who I'm going to be, is the vineyard worker. Hetty Chablis is the vineyard owner. And then the extras or non-suspects, there's Bonnie Lass, mystery novelist. And then you are Bud Weiser, the FBI agent.
Sounds good to me, man. I love it.
You like that?
Though I wouldn't mind being the Rotten Grape guy because I just love the name. But Budweiser?
Budweiser. B-U-D and then last name W-I-Z-E-R.
Okay.
So I thought you'd enjoy that.
Well, it sounds good to me, and it's always good to have some good, wholesome fun.
And I do want to promote another game that I got recently. It's called Mind the Gap, and I think you would enjoy this. It is, it's kind of like Trivial Pursuit, but it is better. I find the questions much easier, not easier, but like more relatable. So there are 4 generations that play this. And you can play it with 1 generation, 2 generations. The ideal situation is if you got representatives from the boomer generation, Gen X, millennial, and Gen Z. And there's a playing board and there's like quadrants. So everybody has to go through each of the 4 generations. And so you can go through the boomer and they have all the different categories like entertainment, music, news headlines, slang. And then they have questions along the 4 generations. So I highly recommend it.
So it's like a generational Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I think later tonight, you, Kim and I can play this. I think this will be fun.
Even though we're all kind of the one generation, but that's fine. That's cool.
But I think you'd be able to cross a lot of these. I find the Gen Z the most difficult, honestly, and I think you'd still do well.
Well, that's because I'm on fleek.
Allie kind of crosses in between. She's on the cusp of millennial and Gen Z, so she kind of gets a blend of both. And then she struggles a little bit more here, and everybody's got their own strength based on their generation. But anyway, just something to talk about. That's it. That's all I got.
Well, I mean, that's all I think we need to do. Wrap it up.
All right. Thanks for joining us. The SmorgShow Podcast, Smorgasbord Radio. We will be back in the near future with another episode. Oh, by the way, this is our 13th anniversary. 13 years ago from this episode launch was when we launched our episode 1. So 13 years. We're still at it. Not as impressive as our 40-year record, which goes back to the original high school show. But as far as a podcast go, 13 years is pretty impressive, I think. So there you go.
And podcasts were only around for a couple of years before you started.
Yeah, you're right. The way we started this up, it was like thread and needle.
Pioneer.